Now, presented in digital widescreen. This is HOI-19 News at 5:30. Accurate, balanced, to the point.
An off-duty Illinois cop shot while being robbed. And the son of a former local congressman gets a grotesque delivery at his restaurant. But the big story at 5:30 is the first presidential visit to Cuba in 88 years. President Obama and his Cuban counterpart Raul Castro meeting today in Havana with a lot of talk about trade and a half-century-old embargo. Mr. Obama says Cuba could take steps on human rights and political freedom to persuade members of Congress to lift the embargo. Local experts think the economic impact could be monumental.
Right now, actually doing exports to Cuba can be quite difficult. The financial systems, for example, are very constrained. If that starts to loosen up, that's going to help not only the larger companies such as a Caterpillar, but more importantly, the small and mid-sized companies.
This is the third time Messrs. Obama and Castro have met since the two nations began to normalize relations 15 months ago. But how does the heart of Illinois feel about getting this particular international partner? HOI-19's Bo Ebenezer live tonight at Caterpillar headquarters in downtown Peoria.
Eric, Caterpillar has been flying the Cuban flag here since last summer when the U.S. reestablished relations with Cuba. The company has been trying to get lawmakers to lift the trade embargo since the late 90s. That could soon be a reality.
Fidel Castro actually met with Malcolm X, not in Cuba.
Illinois Central College's Vice President of Diversity, Dr. Rita Ali, knows what's going on in Cuba firsthand. She went to the country with other community college leaders last year after travel restrictions were lifted. She says Cuba is missing out on cars and even shampoo and toothpaste exports.
We've both been punished enough. Cuba's been punished enough. I think it's time to normalize and for us to learn from that rich history. For us to be able to visit that country that we've been denied. So I think that the opportunity is great. The Cuban people are very excited.
Currently, food, medical, and agriculture products are being exported to Cuba, bringing in about $4 million. Trade experts hope to see big payouts for professional and tourism services in the near future. President Obama has already proposed lifting embargoed products like home construction material. Local residents say they're excited for the possibilities.
I think it's major because the economy right now it's at its worst, so building a relationship, a trust, and a bond with other countries, I think it's a go.
Cuban Missile Crisis, probably. I know a lot of older people might have sour thoughts about that, but you know, people change, countries change, so I think we've come a long way since where we started.
ICC has even applied for a grant to have students study abroad in Cuba. They plan to have the plans finalized for next spring. Reporting live in downtown Peoria, I'm Bo Ebenezer for HOI-19. Eric, back to you.
I think he said his name was Bo Ebenezer. All right, the president's trip to Cuba has spurred a lot of Americans to make their own travel plans to visit the island nation. A new TripAdvisor survey says 62% of Americans are interested in booking a trip to Cuba, with 25% hoping to make the trip in the next year. A majority hope to get there this fall. The most popular destinations are Varadero, Havana, and Cayos Santa Maria. Governor Bruce Rauner says he will support Donald Trump for president if Trump wins the Republican nomination. Rauner says, as the head of the Republican Party in Illinois, he'll do everything he can to work with whoever the nominee is. U.S. Senator Mark Kirk has also said he will support Trump if he is the nominee. A woman accused of stealing some items from the Pekin Walmart fought the law, and the law won. Police found Dawn Estes walking behind a Radio Shack and tried to fight the officer. She was pepper sprayed. Police say she had her stolen items on her and some drugs in her pocket. She has been released from jail and has a notice to appear in court. And off-duty Chicago cops recovering after being shot while getting robbed. Police say two men approached the officer as he parked his car this morning. They demanded he give them his belongings. The officer says he heard one of the suspects say, "Shoot him." He then drew his gun and exchanged shots with the suspects. The officer was hit in the leg.
Alert, he's awake, he's in relatively good spirits, but I think it's starting to sink in as to how close he came to losing his own life. Had it been a private citizen, you know, it may have been a lot worse. We may have ended up, unfortunately, with another murder, but the officer was able to take action.
The officer told police that he believes he shot one of the suspects and a person of interest was being treated at a hospital. The second robbers at large No charges have been filed at this time. Law enforcement agencies around Illinois are doing all they can to get body cameras for their officers, even doing some crowdfunding. At least 10 agencies, including South Peak and Metamora and Williamsfield, are now using the website bodycameradonations.com to receive money for the cameras. Now, each camera costs roughly $250, and anyone can donate to a specific department or to a general fund for all departments on the website. The South Pekin police in particular say they hope to buy 5 cameras, 1 for each officer. A bill in the state Senate would raise the age to purchase tobacco products from 18 to 21. Now, the city of Chicago recently passed a city ordinance to that effect. The sponsor of the bill, Chicago Democrat John Morrow, hopes that the bill will decrease the number of young people who start smoking. The bill is presently in committee. Time now for a first check of the weather. Hopefully, Chuck, spring will start feeling like spring.
It will, especially tomorrow, Eric, but we'll have strong southerly winds. Not bad today. Temperatures where we should be. 54 right now in Peoria. That's about a normal high. 54 in the Twin Cities. We'll be in the mid-60s tomorrow with strong southerly winds, but that means a cold front and some showers and storms coming our way on Wednesday. And would you believe, some rain, snow Wednesday night, Thursday, and Thursday's high only shaping up to around 40. The winds are starting to blow in from the south with gusto, double digits sustained, and they'll be there tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures not going very far. We'll be in the mid-40s here this evening, mid-40s at midnight, low 40s in the morning, mid-60s tomorrow. But rumblers midweek. I'll talk more about that, and a hard freeze in the forecast as well in a few minutes, Eric.
All righty. Peoria City Council will decide tomorrow night whether to raise sewer rates. While the city's been negotiating for a decade on a very expensive EPA mandate to reduce sewer overflow going into the Illinois River, Public Works Director Mike Rogers tells us the proposed rate hike only covers basic interim goals.
Just to keep the system maintained and operating in a fashion where things don't just start to break down.
Being considered tomorrow would increase sewer rates for customers living south of War Memorial Drive by 12% and 7% for those north of that line. The list of finalists for ICC president is down to 4. The Board of Trustees will hold community interviews starting next Monday to let the community voice any questions or concerns they have for the candidates. Now, the interviews will be spanning 4 days, 1 candidate per day. The trustees are expected to make their choice next month.
The 5th president will have a lot on his shoulders, or her shoulders, whoever selected, but we hope the next president takes us into the next 50 years, and we'll have a lot of changes in academia going forward.
You can register to attend the interviews and the luncheon over on the ICC website. O'Hare may be the second busiest airport in the world, but it's no longer among the 100 best in the world. O'Hare has fallen out of the rankings of the 2016 World Airport Awards, which are voted on by more than 13 million air travelers. O'Hare ranked 92nd last year. Midway is also unranked. Airports are rated in 39 areas, from public transportation, access to cleanliness, and wait time for food. The #1 airport, again, is over in Singapore. Not sure when pizza belongs to one political party or another, or if it does at all, but someone in the Quad Cities apparently thinks it does. Someone left a plastic bag filled with human waste on the steps of a pizza parlor in Moline. The restaurant is owned by the son of former GOP Congressman Bobby Schilling. Along with the not-so-special delivery was a note that compared the pizza to what was in the bag and expressed anger that the pies made at the restaurant are Republican. Joe Schilling says his pizzas are not about politics, but they're about bringing people together. No one has come forward to claim responsibility for this. Still ahead tonight, a bus trip turns into a disaster. Excuse me. Also, time to think pink why this is a very good week to register for the Race for the Cure. Now let's take a look at tonight's almanac. Chuck has the forecast up next.
Coming up in sports, we're talking plenty of basketball. We're going to check in with the Peoria Manual Rams head coach. Stay with HOI-19 News.
You're watching HOI-19 News. Accurate, balanced, to the point.
And welcome back, everybody. Let's go to Peoria's busiest intersection, and that is War Memorial and University. Traffic a little bit busy according to the strong law IDOT Road Watch Camera Network. Let us go elsewhere and check things out with the Avanti Cam. Unity Point Health Methodist downtown, just amid the high level clouds coming in. CSZ Software Cam, Civic Center Plaza downtown Peoria. There's the Illinois Eye Center Cam at the Great Escape. And one more stop, that's the Bratcher Heating and Air Conditioning Geothermal Cam Hewitt Hall at ISU. Weather headlines, well, things are warming up, though it will get windy over the next few days. Partly cloudy, not as cold tonight. Windy will be in the low 40s with strong southerly winds kicking in. And actually, we'd have a little bit of a frost, borderline little freeze situation tomorrow, this morning, I should say. But on Thursday night, it looks like a hard freeze for all of us in the mid-20s. It'll be that chilly coming our way. Partly sunny, windy and warmer, mid-60s tomorrow. Showers and a few thunderstorms. Windy on Wednesday with a cold front. Might see a strong storm, at least an isolated one. Doesn't look like it's a widespread severe weather event like we saw last Tuesday. But we will have an exchange of the air masses with some strong gusty winds and maybe some hail out there on Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. 54 in Peoria, the high for the day. Southwesterly winds at 14, humidity at 31%, so the air is pretty dry out there. 54 in the Twin Cities, west southwesterly winds at 11 and 33% the relative humidity and area temperatures. And downtown Pekin at 54 and Lincoln, Logan County Airport at 55, Havana the same. Most everybody running low to mid 50s, uptown Normal at 54, LaSalle, Peru, Streeter, Ottawa at 52, 52 in Pontiac and Gridley, and 52 in Lakin and Varna. Wind speeds, they're starting to crank a little bit from the south. That's indicative of a storm system out in the northwest that'll crank those winds tomorrow, but will be double digits sustained tonight and tomorrow out of the south. Satellite radar, mid to high level clouds streaming in. Notice the activity out to the northwest. Center of circulation is in Big Sky Country, and that's a storm system we'll be watching as it comes our way. We zoom into the heart of Illinois and just mid to high level clouds here tonight and tomorrow, and then we'll start thickening those clouds on Wednesday. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center, this is day 3 or Wednesday, the areas in green indicate just a marginal risk for an isolated strong storm Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Here's Futurecast. Here's a line of showers and a few thunderstorms coming our way right here. That's about 10 or 11 o'clock on Wednesday night. Looks like to be some hail in there and possible strong gusty winds. And then it goes east of the I-55 corridor by midnight. On the backside of this thing, we get a few snow spritzes in here, and that will be a cold scenario. High of only 40 coming our way on the Thursday. 42 here tonight, partly cloudy skies, and we'll go 66 tomorrow, partly sunny, strong winds, warmer temperatures. The rest of the 7 days, we have that shower and thunderstorm situation on Wednesday, and it'll be mild, but then we get things on the other direction. It looks like a rain-snow mix on Thursday with a high of only 40, a hard freeze Thursday night into Good Friday morning with lows in the mid-20s, and then we try to rebound a little bit on Easter weekend coming up.
So you got to Scotch guard the bonnet.
Exactly.
Something like
Wait
that.
a minute.
All right. Well, Peoria's Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure is going to be here before you know it. Registration is underway now for the 31st annual race, the Race for the Cure.
And as a special incentive, if you register this week, you'll be entered into a drawing for a $100 gift card at the shops at Grand Prairie. The fee is only $30.
Yeah, we've had a great turnout with registration so far. Of course, we always want more. We've got a grand goal of doubling our race size this year. We would love for everyone who's come out and participated before and loved the event to register again and invite one new friend. So think, who's your plus one? Who are you going to bring out and introduce to this fun family event this year?
And as always, the race will be held Mother's Day weekend. This year it's Saturday, May the 7th.
All right, mark it down. A business gets an extreme necessary makeover after a terror attack. Also, a very giving family opens their home to Syrian refugees as we continue for you tonight. World News Now, look at some of the big stories from around the globe this Monday. First to Spain, where people are paying tribute to 13 students killed in a bus crash over the weekend. The victims all between the ages of 19 and 25. 23 passengers are still in the hospital. 6 are in serious condition. The bus driver is being investigated for possible negligent homicide. To Paris now, where a cafe is reopened for the first time since November's terror attacks. 20 customers and staff members died at the Belle Equipe restaurant. It has been totally renovated. Staff says that they're still scarred by the attacks, but hope that the renovations will help the cafe and its customers move on. And in remembrance of the victims, there is now a mural covered with flowers bearing the names of the victims at the entrance of the restaurant. Now over to Greece, where a baker and his wife have opened their home to 3 Syrian refugee families. The families had been staying at a camp near the Greek-Macedonia border. The couple gave up the bedrooms of their house, and they're now sleeping on the sofa. The baker says that it was a visit to see the refugee camp which led to their decision to open their home. More on the day's news, including David Muir with an exclusive interview with President Obama in Cuba on World News Tonight right here at 6. Coming up in sports, a look back at a wild Sunday night in the NCAA tournament. And the Peoria Manual Rams head coach talks about his favorite part of the job, and it has nothing to do with basketball. Next.